Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome to the Breakdown Podcast. Welcome back to the channel. How are you? An interesting Saturday of football. Results went against us. Bit of a up and down performance, I guess. There was good, there was bad. There was probably a bit of ugly as well. Certainly some ugly refereeing. You can't blame the referees, I don't think. At the end of the day, you've got to just play the game. I apologize, I'm a little bit late. Just to give everyone a heads up, I guess. I'm going to just turn this light off. I'm not sure if we'll have the full hour today. My Crohn's has been playing up a lot today. I've been got a lot of pain and not feeling great. So we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go is all I'll say. I won't say no guarantees either way. But so look, it's transfer window season. Shuts tomorrow evening, 7:00. And of course, we signed Callum Scanlon today. Very good signing. We've got a recruitment report with a real detailed deep dive coming out with it on him Tuesday morning, I believe. But yeah, he's quite an exciting signing, and he very much fits in the ilk of Amari Kennyman in that he's a highly rated young player who fits the exact profile of Brian Barry Murphy likes. Real good technical player, really good attacking player, and he's just recovering from a bad injury. However, you've got to sit, mate, if you're going to sit. Right. And then, look, he is a very good player. He's also he played on the wing for Millwall in the Championship last year. So, last year. So, he's definitely a good option to have. And I think it's good for Ronan Capacchio as well, because I felt for him yesterday. Very, very difficult to play on that left-hand side when you're so right-footed like him and Perry NG are. And I feel like it puts him in a bit of a disadvantage for sure. Particularly because Chris Willock likes to cut in and drift in. I know he can go both ways. But you want like a left footer going up so that they can get crosses in and stuff like that. But yes, I do really like Scanlon. It's just whether obviously he's fully recovered from his injuries and stuff. But he doesn't have to play every minute of every game either. I think it's a really attacking option. I wanted to talk about Alex Robertson a little bit. I said about 6 times in the last 60 seconds, so let's give that a rest. It's not like me. Alex Robertson, I saw on social media at halftime. I made the fatal mistake of going on Twitter, and it's just mad. But I saw him get quite a bit of criticism in the first half. But in the first half, as I said on 5 things, we really bypassed our midfield a lot, maybe until the sort of latter parts of the second half. And what I thought Alex Robertson did really well in the first half was snuffing out danger. There was a couple of cutbacks from the left-hand side, which he read and stopped getting to their destination. He won a few headers in his own box, followed the runners when they ran and, breaking the lines and he just didn't switch off. And it wasn't his type of game, It's not just him, Kellyman as well. There was a lot of hopeful long balls. And I thought we played into Burton's hands a lot in the first sort of half hour of the game. We're just putting it long, and then they're fighting for the second balls. But Jamie texted me before the game, and he said the Burton players are massive. So you're playing into that. That's exactly what they would have wanted. Second balls, fighting in that, and then getting the ball into their wingers and their strikers as quick as possible. So I thought that was a bit of an error. But on Robertson, I thought defensively he was very good in the second half. First half. Then you saw, just as we came towards half time, he started to get on the ball a little bit. Him and Wintle and Kellyman, in fairness. And then second half, I really thought him and Wintle were very, very good. And you could see he'd been told by the manager to get closer to Robinson because Robinson's dropping in to link up a play. You need people going beyond him. And that first finish, for the first goal, is so much harder than it looks. To hit that first time and get the direction, the connection and everything on the swivel is like, or on as it's coming to you, it's a very hard skill to do with that much quality. And it was a great finish. And even the awareness for the second goal to take the corner and then drift in as the ball comes back over is very, very clever. And I thought it was really just a good all round. You saw the best of both sides of his game. For me, Cardiff look a lot better when he's in the side. And I also felt that when him and Kellyman come off, we lost certain aspects of our game. Now, I understand the subs, and I don't like, even at the time, I think they were the kind of subs I probably would have made myself. So it's not a dig at the manager as such. They just didn't work this time around. But I felt like when Kellyman went off, we lacked that sort of attacking link between the midfield and the attack and the strikers, whereby when Kellyman gets it, he looks up and he drives and he wins free kicks and he switches it out wide, and his first thought is forward, and he's very, very good at it. He's got quick feet, and when he came off, we just lacked that sort of cohesion or that link up play. And then when Robertson went off, I felt like we really lost a little bit of control. Maybe you could switch Joel and Turnbull, so Turnbull's deeper and Joel's in the sort of slightly further forward. I don't know, but look, I just thought, like I said, those substitutions were probably the subs I make. I'm trying to think if I would have done anything different. What could you do, really? I mean, you could have maybe put like Kean Ashford in the 10, or you put Isaac Davis on earlier, and maybe have Robinson drop into the 10. But I honestly thought that we made a small pitch smaller in the first half. But once we started to knock the ball around, we looked good. And I thought we played some nice stuff on a shocking pitch for the vast majority of the middle part of the game. I thought Willock and Tanner were very, very good. I think Tanner got a bit frustrated early on, where we kept trying to drop it over the top for him, but he was kind of coming to get it to feet and then give it back and then go in behind. We were just trying to drop it over the top. But the thing I like about both of them at the moment is they're both working hard both ways. They're both working hard to go at their fullbacks and get crosses in the box and link up play, but they're also working really, really hard. And that's something that Willock, I've criticised Willock for, and people have criticised Willock for, is his defensive work. And there was a few times yesterday where, in the second half especially, like full sprints of, from right on the left wing all the way back to get back in to help his fullback out. Look, on Capacchio, Burton definitely targeted him, especially when he gets the booking as well. They're targeting him even more. And, as soon as Joel Bagan come on, we just looked a lot more secure. I think someone asked about set pieces. Is it a problem? I actually think we've looked a load more secure off set pieces over the last probably 3 or 4 games. However, I thought yesterday's goals, the first goal is a really, really clever and really, really well executed finish. It is fortunate though, isn't it? Like, Kellyman's on the floor and he tries to clear it and it just got skews to him, and it's a good finish, but he's fortunate. But those long throws, it doesn't matter how good you are at set pieces, they're always going to be awkward and difficult, particularly early in the game where we hadn't been able to get our foot on the ball, and just because that's what we've been very good at away from home, is just play our stuff, the crowd goes quiet, and then you gradually play yourself into a game. We just never quite did that for that sort of first half an hour, and it was trickier. But then even the second goal, I didn't think it was a free kick. I thought Fish just won the ball, but, whatever. Hits the wall, and it just balloons up to their striker. Of all the places it could have gone, it just happened to go to their striker. And I think ultimately, I don't like using the word luck, but it is unfortunate. It could have gone anywhere. Could have gone into the keeper's hands, could have gone out, could have gone for a corner, could have gone in. It just happened to go to the striker. So I think it's unfortunate, but I just thought maybe after the second goal, we tried to or we just maybe subconsciously dropped a bit deep, and we just invited them into some pressure. And I thought perhaps we could have been a bit more aggressive, because we had control at 2-0. After the second goal goes in, we were in full control of the game. And I just wonder whether we could have just, done something like maybe you drop Isaac up front, because Isaac looks dangerous through the middle because of his pace and his pressing. He had that one chance, didn't he, where he takes a lovely touch and then he just snatches at the left-footed shot. I thought he could have maybe taken it on a bit. But I think he looked really threatening through the middle, and he gives you a lot of energy then. And you could drop Robinson back one, maybe, if you need to take Kellyman off to protect him from injuries and stuff. But it's weird, like we went so direct and so long when our front three was effectively Tanner, Robinson and Willock. I know Kellyman's in the 10, he's a bit taller, but he's not like renowned for his heading ability, I don't think. I just would have liked to have seen us put our foot on the ball and get hold of it a little bit. Or if you're going to be direct and play over the pressing, just do it in a way where you're trying to ping out to the winger's feet or playing through the line. And maybe that's where we miss Dylan Lawler a little bit, because he's the sort of guy who'll thread a ball, instead of just lumping it forward, he'll thread a ball through to Kellyman's feet, and then it turns the team around. And it's just those small details ultimately. And I think there was, like the title says of this video, there was some good. There wasn't some not so good that first 20 minutes. And then there was some ugly. We again, I thought, physically did a good job of, in the middle part of the game, we dealt with the physicality of the opposition well. And I think that's something that we've really improved upon over the season. We just got sucked into it a little bit at the start of the game. That long throw, by the way, from, what's his name? I can't remember his name. The left wing back from Burton was absolutely insane. Like, even as long throws go, it was so big. So it meant that every time they had a throw in on this touchline, they could almost throw it, into the box, or they could just throw it as far as they could up the line and win a throw in closer. So it is difficult, which is why I thought we should have just got the ball down a little bit. But such is life, isn't it? I think, I don't want to talk about Scanlon too much, because I've spent the last couple of days researching and watching clips and stuff like that. And Sam Hill did a really good article on him as well today, which I'll use to go with my own research for this video, which I'm going to record tomorrow. We do have the player ratings video out tomorrow morning or tomorrow lunchtime. So tomorrow we have the obviously the Cardiff City phone-ins on at 7 when the window shuts. I am hoping to do a live rumour mill 6 till 7 for members. I can't guarantee it at the moment, because I'm obviously at the radio station on a Monday and I've got football and stuff like that for my son. I don't think I'll be able to do it 6 till 7. I might be able to do like a pre-recorded episode. Don't think I'll be able to do a live one, thinking about it. I just remembered my son's got football training. We've got to be there at 6:30. Right. No, I'll record one in the afternoon. As far as I'm aware, we are still trying for one. However, and I want to be very clear about this, I don't think it'll happen. But that's just my personal opinion. But I've been told by a couple of people that we're still trying for at least one. And it's the same one that we've been trying for a couple of weeks. We shall see. But it'll be a really good attacking option, and I'd be very happy with it if it comes off. But we'll discuss that more in the rumour mill tomorrow. So this week we've got all sorts of stuff coming up. We've got a video on Scanlon, which will be out Tuesday. We've got the player ratings, like I said. The boys have got Stevenage fan Luca on Tuesday to talk about Stevenage and stuff like that. Wednesday, Evan's doing a live show. Thursday, me and Jamie will be back. But I've also got Andy in the comments yesterday asked if I would do a video similar to the XG video we did about rest defense. So I'm going to do one of those. And maybe another recruitment report as well. Who knows? But look, what did I say, right? And this is what I would remind people of who are getting stressed because the results went away. And look, I'm one of them as well. I was proper stressed yesterday, but like I was reminded of this by someone very, very, very close to the first team today. And I would say this is, I said 2 weeks ago, win your home games and just pick up points away, whether that's draws or wins. Just find a way to not lose away. And like Burton have taken points from some big teams at their place. It is a really, really difficult place to go. They were much more aggressive, as we said in the preview they would be. And the tactical showdown, like they'd be much more aggressive in the way they pressed and the way they tried to do things. They get it up to the strikers quickly. They get set pieces. They put it in a box. They make you uncomfortable. And one of the questions on 3 big questions Saturday morning was, can we get control of the game? And the first 25 minutes, we didn't get control of it, and we didn't keep hold of the ball. We kept giving it back to them. We kept making it a firefight for those second balls, and that's just not our game. We haven't got a take a drink, a Darko Gyabi or someone like that who's big and physical and, you know, can compete in that way for second balls. We've got an aggressive box-to-box who's really technically, you know, very good in Alex Robertson. And we've got a great reader of the game in Ryan Windle. We don't have a 6'4", big, strong, athletic player. If anyone saw the Adama Traore and João Pedro, if you see João Pedro's reaction when Adama Traore starts marching towards him when it all kicked off yesterday in that West Ham Chelsea game, like, you want someone that big, didn't you? Who's in there? So JT says this. He says, we should be hijacking the BN Carey deal to Rotherham. Tyro was an unnecessary signing and a left back is a bare minimum for the January window. So first of all, absolutely disagree with you that BN Carey would be a good signing, because he's, at the moment, and like as of today, he's no better than what we've got playing in the wide areas, and he's not going to play through the middle because of the physical side of it. In a few years, he will probably be better, but he's not there. He's not played first team football. He's very slight, technically excellent footballer. And I dare say, you know, if he was still in the academy, he'd be in and around the first team for sure. But I think you sign a player like that, his club side are going to expect him to play week in, week out. And I just don't see that he would play for us. Now, if you can get a more ready-made winger who plays his football, you know, plays week in, week out in the EFL and is quick and skillful and strong and who can also play through the middle, then that would be a different story, wouldn't it? Right? But for me, I think their club have made the right call to pull out of the Biancheri thing. It's just an opinion. No, I accept, you know, I understand why people think that it was the right, like, he was an option, and he was an option. Just before Christmas, it looked like he was coming. I think I've done 2 recruitment reports on him. Like, but I understand why we didn't pull the trigger. Tyra, we only got 2 keepers. If Trott goes down, we've only got Turner. Like, we needed a third keeper. There was talk that Turner might go on loan. I don't know if that'll happen, but we still we did need a keeper because we've only got kids. Like, if Trott was to get sent off or injured, we have got no experienced keeper. Like, even Matt Turner's only played like 3 league games to his name. Like, it's not a lot of experience. And if you think if Trott was to go, you know, get injured or sent off, touch wood, he doesn't, in squeaky bum time, it's a lot of pressure on, like, a kid. But I also agree with you. Like, there's quite a lot of time, like BBM, particularly as we get like Ruben fit and all these other players back. And if everyone's fit, and if we do sign another player and you've brought in Scanlon, he does seem to sacrifice the keeper on the bench. So I do get it. but I disagree maybe that it was unnecessary. Like, I think we did need another keeper, particularly because a couple of the younger keepers are probably not quite ready yet or are on loan already. I do think we need one more. I also am hopeful that we can get that one more, but I just don't see it personally. I think if we were going to get him, I think we'd have got him by now. But you know, money talks at the end of the day, I guess, doesn't it? Where's that question gone? Dan asked a question. All right, here's a question. Dan says, for Sai and everyone, who's your current player of the season? I think I'd say NG. Think since he's come back, he's been so consistent, contributing at the top end as well. Very impressive. He continues. I agree with you. He's been super consistent. I agree with you that I think he's back to his best. I think I said that the other day. I really do think he's back to his best. He looks happy. He looks fit. And he had to wait his turn. Like, he had to wait his opportunity because Ronan Capaccio started the season well. He waited for his opportunity. When he got his opportunity, he took it with both hands. And I think that's all you can do for any of the players. Same as when Dylan Lawler comes back from injury. Same as when Ruben comes back from injury. They'll probably have to wait their time. And then when they get their opportunity, they got to take it. Remind the manager, remind the teammates, remind the fans of what they're about. That's the way football is. Callum Chambers has done it this season. It's one of those. In terms of the player of the season, I think I'd probably go with Wintle or Bagan. I think Bagan, just for pure consistency, like, you could count the bad games Bagan's had on one hand, maybe even one finger. Like, he's been that, like, consistent. He's been so good. I think Wintle's definitely in there with a shout. I would have said Ruben as well, but obviously he's been out for a couple of months, so I think it's recency bias to a certain degree, but I think he'd be up there. I think Salic has been excellent all season as well. Even when he wasn't scoring, I thought he contributed a lot. If Chris Willock continues his form that he's been in over the last month, plus the improvements at the start of the season, if he was to continue with the current form till the end of the season, he'll definitely be in with a shout, because attacking players always tend to catch the eye. But a few people saying Wintle, few people saying Bagan. Yeah, I honestly think, I just think Bagan's just been insanely good. I think he's had, for me, I think he's had one bad game where, bad. Other than that, I think he's been a solid, bare minimum 6.5, 7 out of 10 every week. Some days he's been 8, 9. Some days he's been longer, but I definitely think he's been excellent. Before that mistake the other week, Trott would have been in with a shout as well, because Trott was excellent. He seems really nervy at the moment in possession. Whether that's why we've gone a bit more direct recently as well, because perhaps he's a bit nervy, so they're just trying to help him manage that. But yeah, a few people, Bagan and Wintle seem to be the main sort of names. Obviously, NG's been great. Trott. Paul said maybe Chambers as well. Chambers, the mentality of that guy. And honestly, if you'd have told me that we'd be seeing this kind of form out of him and this kind of quality out of him at the end of last season, I wouldn't have believed you, honestly. However, people forget as well, by the way, he's technically, what a footballer he is as well. That volley, a volley like that, dropping out of the sky from that far out, is such a difficult skill. But we've seen him do it a few times. We've seen him hit these balls, and he's so good for a centre back. Technically, he really, really do. No, he's the one I was hinting at is not a big unit, unfortunately. But what I was saying about the physicality is Darko Gyabi. I used him as an example. Take a drink. If we had gone and got him in the summer, that was a game for him yesterday where you can compete for second balls. But when you've got Alex Kellyman and Wintle, that's not really their game. It was my point, I guess. So that's interesting. Gavin says Chambers should lift the League One trophy if and when we get it in May, not Ruben. I think it'll probably be both of them, mate. They've both captained the side kind of throughout the season. Ultimately, I could see why. Yeah, you're right there, Graham. Chambers started really nervy yesterday and made a few mistakes early on. But again, shows the mentality that he cannot go to pieces, because we've seen him start games like that before and then struggle for the rest of the game. So, like, to be honest, for him to be able to then go and put in a performance like that for the next 75 minutes, I think is such a strong mentality. And I really think that he's Ryan. You have to excuse nicotine stains on my fingers. It's my one bad habit. I've got to work out how to get them off. Can't get rid of them. Terrible. Not supposed to have caffeine or nicotine because I got Crohn's. Probably why I feel like rough, in it, because I smoke like a chimney and I live on caffeine and monsters. We've all got our vices, I suppose, isn't it? Dan says, Bagan's my surprise of the season, to be honest. I'll admit that I didn't massively rate him, but love to be proved wrong. He's much more physical this season, which has helped read into the game. Is great. I said early on, it was very, very obvious in the first few games, even in pre-season to a certain degree. Bagan got the tactical side of what BBM wanted very, very quickly, because he was inverting and he got it. And then after a couple of games in the league, you could see he was starting to overlap as well. And yeah, it was impressive. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, look, with Bagan, I just think he's just been superb. And I think some of these young players like him, I don't think he's been helped over the years by being in and out of the side all the time. Osho got a knock against Stockport. So, kind of is what it is. Yeah, I bet Bagan's happy to have left back in there. The other thing as well with Scanlon is he can play on a wing. So you've got two fullbacks in Kipakio and Scanlon, who should the need arise, you can kind of play him on the wing. You can, if you're trying to keep a lead in a squeaky bum game like it is tight, you could put them on the wings in front of the fullbacks, and you can be really secure defensively, but also still have a bit of a threat going forward. So it'd be interesting. Biggest club in Wales. It's not even a question, is it? Come on. Cardiff City fan says, what position would you bring in if we were to have one by the end of the window? Oof. So it depends what you're asking me. If you're asking me what I would bring in, or if you're asking me what I think we'll get in if we do get another one, probably the answer is two different things. So if we get one, I believe we'll get a winger. If I was doing it, I would have got Darko Gyabi in the summer. I've been pretty consistent with that. I thought we should have followed up on it and got him. And I just think he's the one type of profile of midfielder that we just don't have. But, is what it is, isn't it? Don't want to get stuck on that again. Few people saying a 6. Yeah, I just think same problem with Bagan is with Wintle is you can't play every minute of every game. And I do feel like if Wintle gets injured, BBM seems to think, I think he'd put, I think he would put Alex Robertson there. That's not what I would do, but I'm not saying I know better than BBM by any means. He sees them train, he knows them, he knows him longer than anyone else. But one, I wouldn't want to take away from Alex being able to get forward because I think he's really, really, really good. But two, I think Joel Colwell would be who I would put in the 6 if we were, if Winter was to have an injury or get suspended or something like that. But you've also got a Chambers and a Osho who I think could do a job as well. I'd actually quite like them. But Joel played a lot of 6 in development football, so I think he's got the legs for it. And he did it for Cheltenham, as I believe, as well, for a bit. There's it's a question for you all then. If you wanted to bring in a backup for Salic or just an additional striker, what striker would you bring in from League One that you've seen already this year? If you could pick one. Like for me, I said this the other day, so it's not a surprise. I would love to see us in the summer stick a cheeky bid in for Don Ballard. If, assuming we win the league and stuff, I would definitely stick in a bid for him. I do like this. What's his name? Forgot it yesterday in my reaction. The striker who played yesterday for the goal scorer. I quite like him as well. Tolaj. Not a massive fan of Tolaj. I think he's been found out a little bit, but maybe that's just me. Callum Patterson. So I think people thought I was saying don't try and get him the other day. No, someone asked me a direct question: who would I rather up front, Callum Patterson or Callum Robinson? But I do think, I think it was Beasley, the one who scored the first goal. Basically, I can't remember what his name was. And I think Callum Patterson now, if we could get, I'm not saying we would be or should be or whatever. I'm not saying it's happening by any means. Someone asked me the question. If there was a way to get Callum Patterson in tomorrow, I would get him in. The man can literally play any position. Loves Cardiff. You know he's going to work his bollocks off. And he's got an eye for goal. Why wouldn't you want his experience in a promotion run? But I'm not saying he's not going to come, is he? Let's be honest. JT said he'd upgrade Robinson or Davis tomorrow. Davis, for me, should be playing through the middle. Robinson, I think, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's by design or by instructions from the manager, or whether he's just adapting his game because he's lost a yard of pace. I've always felt like Callum Robinson was better playing on the shoulder and running in behind, because I think he's the best finisher at the club. However, for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to be doing that much. He seems to be more coming to get it to feet to link up play. Now, that might be by instructions, because obviously Yusuf does that a lot, and they want to be able to play the way they play. But if we're going to do that, I'd rather see Robinson have a go in the 10 now and again, and then put Isaac up front through the middle, because Isaac's pace creates space for others. Because I think over the last few games, that's where Isaac has been coming on, is through the middle. And it'll take him time to get used to playing back there. I think also I wouldn't judge anybody's touch. Few people were saying Tanner and Kellyman's touch was not very good yesterday. That pitch was shocking. So I don't think I would have judged anyone's touch yesterday. Just thought the pitch was terrible. So Wrexham, I think, on the brink of signing that Keeler Dunn. Yeah, you're right there, Dan. I agree with. Martin says we should definitely try to hijack Bolton's attempt to get Hendry from Wrexham. Was prolific at Plymouth and built like Salic. Yeah, he could play different. He could play in the wide areas as well. I think that's a good shout, mate. There's players around. It's just whether you could. It's whether the board want to spend the money ultimately, innit? Like, let's be honest. There is depending on what player you want to bring in. I understand the difficulty with left back, being that whoever you're bringing in, you kind of was selling them sit on the bench for more of it. I wouldn't have Kiefer Moore back on loan. I wouldn't have Kiefer Moore back on a free. Like Scanlon is the perfect profile of player coming in on loan, got the quality, but Hardy, yeah, that's the one. So Scanlon coming back from injury, he's not going to expect to play every game. He would, Dan. So, like, I can understand why we had some difficulty finding a left back or getting a left back over the line. Scanlon makes a lot of sense. I 100% think that we could get players in if we, over this January window, there's players out there which we could have got if we wanted them and if we were willing to spend the money. Now, some people, like JT, for instance, will say it's because the board didn't want to spend money. Other people will say, well, no, it's because the manager doesn't want a load of players. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I don't think he wants loads. I think he'd like a couple. Gav, you're just naming people with who are bad for the dressing room. You just winding me up. Scanlon is going to be if he's fit and he doesn't take too long to get up to speed, his pace will be a problem for teams, and it will be a real good asset for us when we're in terms, Ronan Capacchio's recovery pace has been a real asset when he's played on the right at times. And I think Scanlon will do the same. He gives you a lot of pace. He's so quick. Yeah, look, there's players out there. But it's what the manager wants. It's what the manager... They don't want to overpay, I guess. You do pay a lot in January, but I just believe that there's players that we could have got. No, Scanlon's... so people got a bit confused when he came off the other day. He played for Liverpool under 21s midweek, and he came off after an hour. And I think a few people, for whatever, I don't know if it was a social media thing, thought he'd come off injured. He didn't. He just came off because he was moving to us the next day. And I think this is the point, right? As Dan says here, BBM is very, very specific with player profiles. He's mentioned it in his presses since pre-season. So it's not like it's not his money. It's at the end of the day, it's not his money. It's not like he's not going to worry about wasting it. He's very specific about the players. You look at the players, right? Look at it a different way. Look at the players that we didn't keep in the summer. That were his decision. Look at the players we've retained. Then look at the players we've signed. They're all very, very specific. So, what fans, including me, might think, oh, that would be a good sign-in, or he'd be a good sign-in, or he'd be whatever. It might not be what the manager thinks, because the manager wants a very, very specific player and a very specific type of player, profile, technical ability. I also believe that's why Isaac has started playing through the middle, because he said early on in the season that he sees Isaac as a striker. So I can absolutely see he does, Ryan. You can absolutely... Jota from Notts County would be decent, says Jonathan. It's not a bad shout, mate, but I don't think... I don't even think we're going to get one more over the line, if I'm being honest. But the word on the street is that we are trying to get one more in. Whether that comes to fruition is another thing. Be nice. I look, if I'm honest, as much as I would like a 6 to support Ryan Wintle, I think if you look at what we've struggled with at times this season, I think we've generally dealt with physicality better as the season's gone over, as the season's gone on. But I think in the final third, you can never have too many options, whether it's a bit more pace or a bit more maverickism from people like Tanner and Kellyman and Ruben when you come back. And that's what you've also got to bear in mind is you've got people like you've got Ruben coming back in probably a couple of weeks. He's already back on grass. He'd be, he's going to be like, I know he's not like a new sign-in, but he's like, he hasn't played for how long? How long has he been out? 2 months, 3 months? Like, it's been a while. So, like, getting him back in the side, if he can hit the heights and the form that he was in at early season for the running, that's going to be massive. We need to find a way. For me, we have to find a way to get Kellyman and Ruben close together and playing, because I think they can both be massive assets to each other. Yes, I do, Dan. So Dan just asked the question, do you think the club have views on keeping Kellyman and Scanlon? Should we go up? Yeah. If I was predicting, in Kellyman's case, I think I kind of alluded to it in the video, and this is not based on anything other than a feeling. I think we'll try and get him on loan again next year, hopefully in the Championship. And then I think he might be one of them which you end up kind of signing, depending on how things go and whatnot. And Scanlon will be interesting. My keyboard's run out of battery. If someone wants to Google and tell me how long Scanlon's got left on his Liverpool contract, that'd be great. Yeah, spot on there, Suze. If you imagine if Ruben comes back at the same sort of fitness and sharpness that Ollie Tanner come back, and that'll be proper. Because people forget very easily with Ruben, and I know there's people who want to criticize him and blame him for everything. He was on fire at the start of the season, and he was generally really, really good in every game. And I think at times we've missed him. I thought we missed him against Stockport, for instance, the other day. I thought that was a game that he could have really done with. I think we could have done with him. And even yesterday, you look at it and you think, like there's points where his physicality would have been beneficial. Like he's improved his physicality, like not improved his physicality because he's always been big, but he's improved how he used his body under BBM. Geraint says Salic said he'll be out for 2 weeks after his latest scan, so he could be back on Saturday. I hope so, mate. I think he's massive to the way we play, not just his goals and his pressing, but his movement and his link-up play. I think he's been really good all season. There was a point earlier in the season where people were saying like, he's got to be dropped, he's not scoring. But the reason he was retaining his place over Robinson was because of that, what he gives you, the link-up in the play, but also like his pressing, like he covers some serious hard yards. And even though, right, I think our pressing has been excellent all season. It's been really, really well drilled. And I think it's been even more well drilled since Ruben was out by design. Like, I think they redid it because at the start of the season, Ruben did a lot of the heavy lifting in the press because he would go and then Salic would fill the gaps. And then when Ruben got injured, Salic started doing that, and we went to more of a 4-2-2, 4-4-2, in that sort of press shape. But like, I for one will be thrilled when Ruben's back. I think he offers so much, not just to us, but to the team, but to everyone, like individually as well. And he also links up really, really well with Tanner and Willock. Ryan says Ruben carried us for early parts of the season. You'll never be able to buy a player like him in the market. 100%, mate. 100%. I have this worry with Ruben that people will never quite appreciate, particularly what he's done this year, until he ends up going elsewhere and he tears it up, and people will be like, wow. But it is what it is, mate. Like people, social media age, innit? People are very reactive. People feel like they got to blame someone. Like I said, people were criticizing Alex Robertson in a halftime yesterday, and I didn't really get it because he did a lot of good stuff off the ball yesterday in the first half. But I don't know, mate. It is what it is. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, and I get it. Like, historically, Ruben has been inconsistent. This season, he hasn't. Since Brian Barry Murphy walked in the door and said, this is the face of my team, this is the face of the Cardiff Resolution, he's been superb. I don't think Lawler's out for long. I did ask a question the other day. I was told it's not like a serious thing. Be out for a week or two, I think. But I think we miss his passing sometimes, particularly away. But I also understand why the managers opt in for the experience of an Osho or a Chambers. They give you a bit more physicality. I'll tell you who I thought was really good yesterday was Will Fish again. I thought he was excellent against Barnsley. And he just won. I haven't got my stats in front of me. But I thought he just won a header after header after header yesterday. And, I mean, everyone knows I'm a big Will Fish fan. I was calling for him to be in the side pretty much all of last season, especially at the start of the season. But I just think, he's been superb. I'm just trying to... I did all my notes for the player ratings video, which I got to record. Seeing if I've got the Will Fish ones to hand. Perry NG, by the way, yesterday was absolutely colossal from a statistical point of view. Will Fish, 14 clearances, 10 headed clearances, dribbled past 0 times, 80% pass accuracy, 15 passes into the final third. I just thought he was very, very good yesterday. Callum Chambers, by the way, though, as well, was decent. Just struggled a little bit in the air yesterday. But it's difficult when you've got 2 up against the centre-backs. It gives them different things to worry about. You haven't got the cover. That's not even funny, Graham, joking about that. I won't accept such jokes. Jonathan says Lawler at the back is much better the way he gets the ball forward, both passing and dribbling, offers something so much different to everyone else. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I think his ability to split teams open with one pass is super underrated. And what we did consistently at the start of the season was he would thread it through the eye of a needle almost, break lines into Ruben or Joel Colwell's feet. They would pop it off to Wintle or one of the fullbacks, and then they would pop it through to the winger running in behind. It was just like a very traditional up, back, through. But it just works so well because of Dylan Lawler's passing accuracy and his ability to beat a press with his passing or with a drop of a shoulder. Cardiff City fan says, I haven't watched Rotherham. If Salic is unavailable, who would you put up top? I would probably go with the similar system to what we did against Barnsley, I think. Like, saying that, I would really like to see Isaac Davis play through the middle. And actually away from home is probably a good game to do it because teams will come at us a bit more when they're at home. Rotherham score goals as well. So Rotherham will come at us. So I don't think having Isaac in the front line is the worst idea. His pace he's quick and he gets in behind and he presses and he works. He needs to work a little bit like on his first touch. But Isaac is one of them, which is you almost like what's the word? He suffers because teams don't play 2 up front, and he suffers because he can play wide and through the middle. Let the reason be love. Nice to see Tankovic on the bench, says Suze. Yeah, I think he'll be in the first team squad next year, Suze. He only returned to training on Monday, so that tells you how highly they rate him, that he was in the squad by the weekend, literally back in training Monday. I wonder whether the 18s or the 21s thought they might have him for Friday or Saturday, but they did not. Yeah, I think he's a quality player, Suze. And for people who are not as watched him as much as maybe I have, or I know Martin's seen much more of him than me, I really think with Tankovic, people who haven't seen the development sides play, they haven't seen the best of him, because when he played in the Virtue Trophy, he played wide, and he's not a wide player. There was a guy behind me at the Newport game who was like, "Oh, he's not up to it. He's no good. He's not going to make it." And I was just like, "Fucking no, it's a literal child." And it's madness. But yeah, I think he'll be in and around the first team next year, definitely. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's in, and depending if we bring people in and stuff. But I wouldn't be shocked to see. No, I think he's you got to remember, right? So just so people know what I'm on about. Cardiff City fan says, why is he on the bench to just stay there, though? Put him on the bench if he's going to come on. It's not just about that, though, mate. You got to think, this is a literal child. He's 16. It's getting him used to traveling with the first team. It's because it's one thing training with the first team on and off. It's one other thing playing in a home game, particularly when it's, a meaningless trophy, when all the other kids are playing. It's getting him used to traveling up on the bus with the first team, with the big name players, if you like. That's a really important experience and part of his development, because if he develops as much as they rate him, or as they think he will, he's going to be in there sooner than later playing. So it's getting him used to being around them, how the manager works, what the manager expects, training with them, warming up, what happens on a match day. How is it different to the under 21s? How is it different to the 18s? How is it different to the under 17s, or 16s? There's a lot of it which goes into it, mate. And I think it's definitely worth him going. And he's an option on the bench if you need him. And yeah, you've got Axel Donksu as well. The problem I think you'll find with Donksu in the short term, obviously he's younger as well. Younger again, he's 15. He's 15, so he's very slight and very lightweight. And I think in a championship or in League One, you've got to be pretty flipping exceptional to be able to deal with playing against grown men at that level. Let me put it to you this way. My youngest son had turned 17 today, by the way. Happy birthday to him. He is a very good footballer. Not quite good enough, but at this point, in terms of academies and stuff like that, he kind of fell out of that system. But he's very, very good. When he played against his age group over the last few years, has dominated and done really, really well. He was the top assist maker or whatever in all of the leagues for this area, the one in under 15s. So he's good. But when he stepped up to play, he's playing under 19s football this year, it has been a whole different kettle of fish. He's also played against men a few times this year as well, in a men's team. It's just different. It's a different level of strength and physicality. Even a fully grown 19-year-old to a big, and he's strong as well. Physically, he's stocky and he goes to a gym and he deadlifts and all that sort of shit. And I'm not comparing these boys to my son. I'm just saying the jump up, and that's at grassroots level, by the way. Like, you think of it from development football, which is only a bit above grassroots, to then elite football championship, one step away from League One, one step away from the Premier League, like against grown men, experienced professionals. It's just a whole different ball game. And I think people have got to be patient with some of these kids. I know it's exciting, and I know we've seen some 16-year-olds over the years come into the Jude Bellingham and Wayne Rooney and Martin Odegaard and there's a couple of boys at Arsenal this year or last year. Like, I know we see them and we see them, but like, they are few and far between. There's not many 16-year-olds who are physically able, no matter how good they are, to deal with playing with men in elite sport. And if they are real fucking special. So it's just one of them. Put it this way, like, well, the 15 and the 16-year-olds, they can't even be in the dressing room, same dressing room. I don't know if it's changed now, but certainly last year, Arsenal had to have a separate dressing room for the two young lads because of like safety issues or whatever, because they're underage and whatever. Yeah, I know, mate. Once I start talking, you know what I'm like. But my stomach's fucking killing. I haven't taken my hand off it. Someone asked about. It was Boy's Own fan. He said, "Newport going down. Is there a rivalry?" I got to be very careful what I say about Newport, because I go there every week to do my radio show. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, there is a rivalry, mate. There is definitely, but I think it's much more one-sided from, at least in the modern day, it's much more one-sided from their point of view to us the other way, like, if that makes sense. But I know loads of Newport people and done a bit of stuff for the Newport County, and yeah, look, it's I really hope they stay up. I gotta be honest. Like, I want all the Welsh teams to be in the EFL. I want Merthyr to go up, so then Cardiff can go to the top of the pile. So it'll be interesting. Right, I think that's me. Videos tomorrow, videos everywhere. I got so many videos out this week. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with me today. I know I skirted around a few things and been all over the place. Rumour Mill will be out tomorrow afternoon at some point, maybe towards the evening. Everything else, we'll see how it happens. Thank you so much, as always. Keep the faith. I'll see you tomorrow. This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards, from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.